temple by braving the spine of the world. You'd accompanied Harshnag up here, and you're here to try and commune with the All-Father, Anum, who is the god of all giants. And hopefully he can give you guys a little bit of reasoning as to what is going on with the giants. You'd also encountered Wormblood, the leader of the Wormblood tribe, and he violently attacked you all. You guys killed him and took his head as a trophy so you can show the other members of the tribe that the evil, corrupted chieftain has been killed, because the barbarians of the Wormblood tribe told you that he'd been corrupted, and also this mysterious entity that you'd communed with had also sort of told you guys that they feel that he's angered Al-Rem, their spiritual deity that they worship. So you've taken this shaman from the Wormblood tribe as a prisoner, and you've just entered into this mighty hallway now, and that's where we ended this session after Harshnag told you a little bit of history about all of the different giants, a brief history about them. So this room is absolutely massive. Your dark vision or your light source cannot even begin to encapsulate the entirety of this room. There are the 6 giant statues, and then one large statue in the middle of all of those, each one very impressive, each one representing a different god or a son of Anum, each one having to do related to each of the different types of giants: hill giants, fire giants, cloud giants, storm giants, frost giants, stone giants. And in the middle of this all is Anum the All-Father, who's depicted as a towering 80-foot tall statue, and he's wearing this large blue cloak. It's got a hood as well, draped over his head, and the face of the statue, it's concealed beneath this stony cowl. You're not sure if it has much detail. I'm not sure if anyone's vision, apart from Roderick, could actually even glimpse upon the face of this gigantic statue. And then the ceiling, I mean, it even extends above that, because Roderick just sees blackness when he looks up, and his vision goes out to 90 feet. There is a an archway. It's about 40 feet wide and 40 feet tall. It's set with 6 different runes. Each rune is carved into the arch. Each one is inlaid with some sort of light blue stone, and there is a glowing mist filling this arch. It's like a swirling light blue glow. It's a very, very large gateway. Obviously, everything in this temple is made for giants, and there is some niches in the walls on either side of it that contain these empty ice-covered sconces made of iron, and no torches in there. There's also doors to the south and north leading away from this room. I'm just going to say Than is guarding the entrance. He's going to be guarding the prisoner for now. So if you're wondering what he's doing, there we go. He says, no problem. Tell me if you need me to jump somewhere. As he always says. Harshnag, as you remember, he seems a little bit confused. He doesn't really know all of the giant gods. He's been here before, but it seemed to be a very long time ago. You also notice that the floor is cracked. It's got a massive crack just riddling through it. The crack is quite wide that you actually have to jump over it in some places. Everything is sheathed in ice. It's freezing in here. Because you're so small in comparison, you'll need to make an investigation check, Thomas. I know you can see on this map that they seem to be You follow them around, and yeah, you can figure that out. They're all coming from the statue. Ah, the All-Father. Harshnag walks over. You can hear his greaves just crunching along the ice and stone. His armor clings around as he moves. Ah, no use trying to look at that face. Me ancestors who carved this, they dared not misrepresent him, so they left it just a big, smooth, bare piece of rock. But I always do wonder what he looks like. Oh, well. I can't remember how we got to speak to him. Let me try something. Hey! Daddy! Daddy! We got some questions for you! I didn't think that worked. It's a gate of some sort. Let me take a look here. Runes. Hog, Stein, Ice, Ild, Psyche, Uvar. Rune for each giant. I don't see a door there, friend. Also, Lily, your detect magic rituals gone off at this stage, and you don't actually detect any magic in your vicinity. Pray. Make a religion check. You can say some things as well. Now there, small one. Do you really think Annam can understand the thing that you're saying? And besides, he doesn't answer the prayers of pint-sized peas like yourself. You detect a slight aura of illusion magic, and you believe that that's probably just like the glow coming off of it. Other than that, it doesn't actually emanate any other particular school of magic. When you get a lot closer to it, Lily, you start to feel very, very faint aura of conjuration magic. But when you enter the mist, nothing happens. You just come face to face with a cold rock wall. The mist it's very icy and it's just churning all around you. It's like stepping into a freezer. As you look around and you've examined all of these statues, again, I'll reiterate that each one is a paragon of a type of giant. Hill, stone, frost, fire, cloud, and storm. And all of the smaller statues face Annam, and each one has their arms outstretched. And 5 of them hold weapons, gifts for the Allfather, but the Frost Giant statue seems to be unarmed. Ah! This one? It was rewarded to me by the Black Star for my efforts in saving Waterdeep multiple times. Gert's great axe it is. It has a name, you know. Give it Gert's great axe. Ha! Alright, Norin, make a persuasion check. Ha ha ha! No. This axe comes from a place far, far away from here. I didn't remember if they all had weapons or not. Ha ha! That little tiny axe. Well, you're the smart ones, not I. Runes, giant runes. If you speak Dwarvish or Giant, then yeah. He already deciphered them for you just before. Hog, Stein, Ice, Ild, Sky, and Uvar. Each one is a different type of giant rune. Hill, Stone, Frost, Fire, Cloud, and Storm. Well, little ones, come up with something. Suddenly, two little sprites appear out of the cold, misty portal in front of you. They look like imps, but made completely of ice, mixture of water and air. They materialize in front of you all, and they're chuckling a little bit. Have very long, slender noses, bat-like wings, and they permeate frost. And they start speaking in primordial as they chuckle. Ah, little buzzards, get out of here! Harsnag starts swiping at them as they like buzz around his head. But he's too slow and they're too quick. They fly up above him, and then they start sort of swooping in and out of you guys, just leaving this little frosty trail in their wake. And then they start pointing at the statues. They start pointing at the Frost Giant statue. There's no magic coming off the statues. This is the Frost Giant statue, the one that's missing the weapon, though. and then they point to a set of doors to the north. Tuck, 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 tuck. They start swirling around this door. Tuck, 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 tuck. The door they're massive for starters. They're giant size. They're completely sheathed in ice. And yeah, the handles are 12 feet off of the floor. You could try and open it, Rend, if you make an athletics check. Right, you push at it, and it's got a layer of ice completely sheathing it. You're just pushing against solid ice. Gonna need to melt that away. I could, but first we need to melt that ice away. I didn't want to break any doors here. Alright. Alright, you drop a fireball on the wall. Harshnag's eyes just widened. What are you doing? And then you just... The ice just completely melts away. The fireball turns it all into water, and it drips along the bottom of the door. Oh! It doesn't actually scorch anything as well, because everything has got a layer of ice on it, including the floor. So it's just left with like running water that drips into this crack quite quickly. That's better. Harshnag steps forward, and he just grabs the handle and pulls the door open. There's a very wide and tall hallway here. It's 60 feet high, and you see a set of stairs leading off to the east. 20-foot wide stairs that appreciate quite quickly. They're each actual step is like 3 feet tall, and they seem to be leading up to a second level. These are the bottom of the stairs here. And then there is a very large hallway off to the north as well. Yeah, there's a little alcove here at the south of this hallway, and it has a statue of a stone giant. He's got his arms out with his hands facing forward. His palms are facing to the north, and he's in a stance as if he's like pushing something. He's got his knees bent a little bit. He's tall. He's about 20 feet tall, about life size. As you come close to the statue, Lily, you detect an aura of transmutation magic. Transmutation is like transforming magic. Polymorph, things like that. Things that alter things. Oh, it looks like a good place to rest. As you move up, Norin, you see some massive compartments. They're like 60-foot square. They have these giant stone benches, which are about 7-8 feet off of the floor. Stone bench to the north of the room and a stone bench to the south of the room. And yeah, you can like walk straight underneath the stone bench. Harshnag walks up. And he just stretches out a little bit and sits down on this massive bench. Stretches his legs a little bit. That's good. That was a bit of a journey there. It's good to take a little bit of a load off. And he starts taking off one of his massive greaves. Like, his boot is massive. Like, you could live in one of his boots. Oh, Than's here now. Yeah. Then you were guarding the prisoner at the doorway. So did you just want to like leave her tied up or something, or do you want to take her with you? Take her with you? Oh, just while you were late, I just said that you were guarding her. Okay. All right, you can drop her with Harshnag then. Ah, and he takes out one of his massive boots, and then he like turns it upside down and puts it over her. There we go. She won't be going nowhere. Yeah, there's just massive quarters here. It looks like giants would rest here, maybe play some games, or have some conversations. May even sleep on some of these benches. Massive, massive compartments. They could even serve as beds. They're all completely covered with frost. And you actually see some frozen, tattered furs atop some of them. As you move upper end into this compartment, you see a fissure. It's like a split, a jagged split in the wall that opens up to a tunnel. Make an investigation check. It looks like there was a some sort of tremor that had just split the wall open, Rend. Doesn't look like it's been hewn or anything like that. Alright, everyone stop now as well. Back here, Roderick. I'm gonna roll initiative. It wasn't you this time, Lily. It was Roderick. Moving up into this area here. Alright, suddenly the wall to the north, it protrudes this gigantic block of stone. It phases through the wall and just sits against the wall to the north of you, Roderick. It phases out and it looks like it's about to fall and start rolling down towards you. And you're the first to react, Roderick. It's like it phases through the wall, and yeah, it's being pushed out like someone's just squeezing it out like straight through the wall with quite a lot of force. Okay. Rend. Yeah, you hear what Roderick said. Alright, one other thing before your turn. Roderick, as you step into this apartment, a wall of stone just appears in front of you and blocks you from getting in there. Just seals you in. And Rend, as you move towards that hallway outside the apartment, same thing happens. A wall of stone just magically appears and seals you in. Yeah, it's solid stone. It's just a smooth stone wall. You did hear Roderick for a brief moment call out. Lily. Alright, there's a landing at the top of the stairs, and it switches back on itself. There's another set of stairs going up to the next level. Fan. Yes, it just... Yep, out in the hallway. It's a wall of stone. Well, it just appeared right in front of you, so you'd hope it's magic. Or otherwise you tried some of those mushrooms that you found on the way up here. It literally just appeared right in front of you. It wasn't there a second ago. Alright. You cast the spell magic, and you still you feel quite a strong presence of the weave. You try to put a knot in that weave and break it, but it's a bit stronger than your dispel magic. You need to make a wisdom check. It immediately is dispelled and disappears. The wall vanishes. When you look to the north, you just see darkness as far as your vision permits. Norin. That's a wall. That's a stone wall. Alright, this rock, it is like shot like a cannonball straight down this hallway. And it moves very, very fast. It rolls straight over Roderick and Than. Both of you need to make a dexterity save. It completely matches the dimensions of the hall. So the best you can do is try and sort of jump to the side wall and squeeze in between it. Than, you're knocked to the ground prone and take 63 points of bludgeoning damage. It completely crushes you. And Roderick, you dive into a little gap in between the curvature of the sphere of rock and the wall. And it keeps on rolling. It just rolls straight over Than and it keeps on going. Alright, Lily, yeah, you just hear this like this very fast rolling sphere of granite sort of behind you down near the landing at the bottom of the stairs. Hey. Yeah, I just said that you... That's what I literally just said. Okay. Thomas. As you step out into this hallway, Thomas, you see every other alcove seal up. A wall of stone moves into every single alcove, the archway that opens up into the alcove. Alrighty, this wall here. Okay, you you hit it and it puts a crack in it. Puts a small crack in it. A bit of stone falls off onto the ground. Roderick. He would approve of that because she's unconscious. Yeah, the brief moment that it rolled past you, Roderick, you identified the boulder as granite. Alright, you're telling this to Than's unconscious body as you're healing him. So you wake up, Than, and you just hear, granite has healing properties. Oof. Still a crit. So 1d6, right? Alright, roll 2d6. And plus your strength. 2d6 plus your strength. Alright, you hit it. You hit it pretty hard, Roderick. And it puts just a tiny little crack in it. You feel like you're going to have to hit it multiple times to get through that at that pace. 11 doesn't manage to damage it at all. It's a miss. Rend. Alright, you peek your head out. You see this massive lumbering stone boulder whiz past you to the south, and then to the north you see Then unconscious, squashed on the ground. Lily. You step around the corner and you see this massive boulder just screaming down the hallway about 30 feet away from you, 40 feet away from you. Looks like it's going to smash into the stone giant statue. Alright, these stairs are difficult terrain as well, Lily, because each stair is 3 feet high. So you have to like climb up each step. Okay. Fan. Apparently granite has healing properties. What do you do? Crawling's half movement. I don't know if you could move that far then. Okay. Alright, Norin. Yeah, tears are objects. Yes. Yep. Bit of chipped stone on the ground, a little scorch mark on it. That hits it. And it smashes into the wall and puts a mighty crack into it. And another good javelin throw, and you reckon you're going to crumble it into pieces. I did say good javelin throw. And this time the javelin actually just sort of hits it and bounces off onto the ground. Doesn't do any extra damage. Alright, Lily, you witness this boulder, still moving at this incredible speed, move straight towards the statue. However, the statue comes to life, and the stone giant, with its palms outstretched, it catches the boulder with great force, and it pushes. It like slams this stone giant statue against the alcove, the back of the alcove, and then the stone giant starts moving forward with it. It starts rolling the stone back up the hallway. Hey. Okay. He could attempt to fly in front of the boulder and stop it as well if he wants. It's like one. Thomas. You can hear these gigantic footsteps thundering down the hallway and the sound of that sphere being rolled back towards you guys. It gets closer. No. It sounds like it's rolling in sync with the sound of these gigantic footsteps. And when you look down the hallway, you don't see it. Oh, I guess you do actually. I know you shouldn't see the light coming off here. You're pretty sure Lily's dead. That hits it, and the entire stone wall shatters. When the bits of rubble fall onto the ground, they vanish as well. Roderick. Yeah, Thomas just shattered this wall down. Ren. Wait, yeah. You don't see anything, but you just hear gigantic stone footsteps, and then the sound of that sphere rolling towards you. Rolling stone sound. You hear the Rolling Stones. It's about 5 feet wide. Yeah, it's actually extremely icy in there, Rent. You notice the uneven floor is covered with ice, and you can move in there. It's fine. It's about 10 feet wide. It's it's very it's like a natural fissure, so it's not like perfectly 10 feet high the whole way through. No. And it's very jagged as well. There's plenty of handholds and footholds. You do need to move through at difficult terrain though. Lily. Yep. No, he's just got both hands firmly on this boulder and he's pushing it up the hall. Than. Starting a new life, yeah. Just think about how you're never going to help Roderick again. You're never going to go to his aid again. Norin. That's a miss. That hits. And your first javelin sort of scrapes along its side because it's a bit of a tricky angle. But that second javelin, it's a direct hit. You angle it around a little bit more and it just cracks the wall quite a lot on impact. Right, the giant statue starts picking up the pace, and it's rolling this massive block of granite quite quickly. And it's just churning it down this hall. It's getting quite close to where Norrin and Than are. It may turn it and push it through this archway to roll over Than. Who knows? Anything could happen. Hey. 60 feet high. Oh yeah, the rock's not that tall. It's like a 10-foot diameter. 10-foot radius, sorry. He's got 60 feet of dark vision, so he sort of sees Norrin about 60 feet away to him, to his left, inside one of these apartments. There's plenty of room above the rock. Thomas, you can now see this massive stone ball just being rolled back towards you. It's not going too quick. You should have plenty of time to get out of its way. Otherwise, it'll be like that scene off Austin Powers with the steamroller. Anyway. Roderick's right there. He could tell you about the density of stone, I'm sure. Okay. All right, you hit it, and the wall has a crack, completely riddling it now. It's still holding together, barely. You could just like poke a club into it and knock it down, probably. Roderick. Okay. Ren. Alright, you move down to just a very narrow, winding, natural fissure, Ren, and it continues on as far as you can see. Curves around to the left, up ahead, after about 40 feet or so. Everything is covered in ice as well. The walls, the floor, the ceiling. Lily. You can be underneath the statue if you want. Then yeah, Noran's none the wiser then. He's just focused on the hallway. He didn't see that. Norin. Oh yeah. It is slightly. It's hunched over. Its knees are bent. It looks very much like a stone giant. And it's just using all of its might to roll this rock up the hall. Yeah, that javelin, it just gets lost. It just disappears into the darkness. And this one actually hits the statue. And it takes a reasonable sized chip out of the statue. You hit it in the head, takes off a shelf of stone. The statue doesn't really react in any way though. It keeps on behaving exactly how it was. It picks up the pace even more and it continues to roll this massive granite block. And it just rolls it straight past everyone. And I'm going to break initiative. It just pushes it off into the darkness to the north. And the walls remain up. Your voice gets lost a little bit in the sound of more giant footsteps. The stone giant statue starts stomping back, but it's so loud it gives you guys enough notice to get out of its way, and it just stomps its way back to the south. And then all of those stone walls suddenly drop. You can squeeze through. It's difficult terrain for everyone. It's 10 feet high, roughly 5 feet wide. It's so icy that you have to, yeah, you may have to shimmy through at some stages. You know, squeezing through side on. And yeah, you'll definitely have to go single file. And I'll say that your detect magic's gone down about now, Lily. It's been about 10 minutes. I think that's for overland travel. But I'll say you can negate the difficult terrain, Roderick. You're literally inside a mountain. You can't really get any more close to a mountain than that. Yeah, you can ignore the difficult terrain. You can't turn your head. Once your head's in that one direction, Norin, that's it. Alright, you guys continue moving slowly through this natural icy tunnel, and it comes to an intersection. As you get to this particular intersection, I'm gonna need everyone to just hold on for a sec. Some spiders come out of the darkness at you guys. And everyone who's all squeezed up there is going to be attacked at advantage because you're squeezing. They are these, you see these two sets of glowing red eyes on each spider, and they're covered with this white furry frost. They crawl out of the darkness and attack you guys. Each one is medium sized. They're about the size of a large dog. And they do attempt to surprise you guys, so this is for surprise. Oh, you guys didn't see that. It's a 21. Does anyone have a passive perception 21 or higher? They surprise you guys. And they just come out of the darkness straight at you all from either side of the intersection, north and south. Alright, Rend, you can rage and not be surprised if you like. Just got to snap everyone to the grid here as well. Moving through someone is difficult terrain. Difficult terrain doesn't stack, so each square costs you 10 feet. You're in this square, Lily. You have to be snapped to a square. All right, you're not surprised. All right, when you do, this ice spider is going to try and bite you with advantage. And as you push Norin closer, it bites onto your hand that is wrapped around Norin. You take 3 piercing damage and you have to make a Constitution save. Alright, you, it doesn't have the poison damage built in. You take half poison damage, Ren, and then half again because you're raging. So you take 1 poison damage. Alright, if you want to swing a 2-handed weapon in this tunnel, you will be at disadvantage because there's not really enough room to effectively attack with 2-handed weapons. Okay, you sort of just get your axe and just move it up and down. Very recklessly. Which one are you attacking? Okay, that is a hit. When you hit it, this bright blue icy blood sort of spurts out of it. Alright, you hit it very hard. And the spider is seriously hurt. You lop off some of its legs. That's another hit. You bring down the axe, it jumps back a little bit. You lop off a couple more legs and you hit some of its poison sac. It's still clinging on though. Alright, these ice spiders have no trouble at all navigating this tunnel, and they move freely amongst everything else, clinging to the walls and the icy surfaces with no problem at all. This one moves in here and it tries to take a bite at Norin. It misses. Right, Roderick, you're surprised. Then you're surprised. This ice spider is going to try and bite you back, Rend. And it hits you. Make a Constitution save. Alright, you actually fail the save against the poison this time. And you take a total of 8 points of damage. 5 poison and 3 piercing with your resistance. Yep. Alright, this spider has it's going to attack you, Ren. Actually, it's going to shoot web at you. It'll be advantage and disadvantage. It shoots this bright blue, like icy web. It hits you, and these shards of icy web wrap around you. As they weave around you, you feel this coldness about it, and you are restrained. It doesn't actually do any cold damage or anything, but yeah, it's just this icy web. Right, Norin, you're surprised. Thomas, you're surprised. This ice spider, it crawls over here. Actually, it's going to move here and then here into this spot, and it's going to attack Lily underneath. Who's there? There's just Roderick and Lily, right? Yeah, it's going to attack Lily. And an 18 is a hit. Your AC is 16? Oh. Okay. Didn't you have your turn yet? You had your turn? You went first. Yeah, you went first, Lily. Yep, surprise means you can't take an action or a reaction till after your first turn. Alright, so make a Constitution save, Lily. The gavel does I'll put it up for you. Yep, you've got your action. So it says you have Lily had her turn already. She went first. She was on 21 on the initiative count. She had her turn already. All right, Lily, you throw up a shield, and that's a miss. The ice spider stays there. This one's going to move in, climbing atop the other spider in the gap above it, and it's going to attack Roderick at advantage. And that misses you. Lily, you're up. Yes. If you're in someone else's space, you're squeezing. And you also have to make sure you move by the end of your turn. You can't willingly end your turn in another creature's space. Yes, you attack at disadvantage. And you have disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. Which one? There are 3 spiders next to you. Okay. Alright, it fails, and it starts to shrivel up a little bit. Some of the frosty spines fall out. Looks a little bit hurt. Bit of icy blue blood trickles down its form. Alright, as you do, all 3 spiders leap at you and attack you, Lily. First one is a miss. Second one is a hit. Make a Constitution save. Alright, you're hit for 17 points of damage as you move back. The spider's venom causes sharp pain to rivet your system. The third ice spider leaps at you, and it misses. Yes. It's too late. You already made your Constitution save, Lily. Things happen sequentially. You have to do it straight away. You get your action back at the start of your turn. That's alright. You're still alive. Rend, you're up. Yeah. That hits. And you just push the axe down onto the ice spider. It curls up into a little icy ball, dead. That hits it. Even with this icy web covering you, you bring the axe down, sort of slashing wildly, and you lop off 3 legs of the ice spider. That hits. And you slash at the ice spider, narrowly missing its head. The blade of the axe sinks deep into its body, and it's almost dead. Alright, this ice spider is going to... it's actually going to pursue Lily, and it'll provoke from Norin. It crawls after her. That hits. You bring the trident up at it, and one of the blades of the trident catches the spider. It continues ambling forward as this icy blood just coats this uneven floor, and it gets to Lily and jumps at her, trying to bite. And its leg falls off. You'd actually severed one of its legs completely. It ends its turn there. You need to make a nature check for that, Roderick. No, just to recall lore. Yeah, they are unusual, but they're just they look like regular spiders that have adapted to a cold climate. Okay, you hold up your druidic focus or whatever you use, and yeah, this little shock wave of green energy passes, a very pleasant one passes out from you, and all 4 spiders make a wisdom saving throw. Okay, the 3 surrounding you, they all become charmed. And while they're charmed to you, they are friendly to you and other creatures you designate. Alright, and that's for 1 minute or until they take damage. Okay. Then. Yeah. The rest are all looking at Roderick with this gleaming look in their 800 eyes, except for that one. It's rubbing its icy hands together, putting on a little bib, getting ready for its next meal. And then it just sort of screeches and curls up into a little ball. Alright, the other spiders, they're only going to stay friendly for a minute, so may as well stay in initiative. Unless you want to just leave them and move away. You have time to do that as well. Alright. Also, Thomas, not your turn yet, so you shouldn't be moving. That hits. Alright, you stab the spider, and immediately that puppy dog look in its eyes turns to one of hate, and the charm is broken. That hits. And you drive the trident through it again. Bright blue blood spurts out across the walls, and the spider's close to death. Thomas. Yeah, a couple of them are just perched there, looking towards Roderick, not doing anything. And one of them's, lashing repeatedly at your allies. This guy. It is. It's all difficult terrain. Alright, this spider is going to start plaiting your beard, Roderick, with its, and it's very effective. It's very efficient. It's got 8 legs, so it's like, yeah, it's doing like 2 plaits at once. Yeah, it's putting little like spidery beads in it. This spider is going to just attack Norin. It's going to try and bite him, and its mandibles clang up against your armor. A bit of poison drips down it. It's like icy poison. Lily. Yeah. It fails and it just melts away. Turns into a husk, squelching puddle of ice. Rend. Yeah, you still got the web on you. Oh, you actually, this particular web, it actually does hurt you a little bit, Rend. And you take 2 points of cold damage now. Make that, you've got resistance actually. So one cold damage. Yep, you can use your action to make a strength check, or you can attack it. And you're not able to break it, Rend. It's this. It's like this it crystallized very quickly. It's like a liquid web, and you're pretty much sheathed in in ice now. This spider hugs you, Roderick, and it says to you in spider, "I love you." No, I love you. And you just poke it in the head. Some of his eyes burst. It breaks the charm. You hit it again. You drive the quarterstaff into its head. Some more. Blood spurting out everywhere, and it's just wildly twitching its legs. It's still alive. So you're just slowly killing it now, Roderick. Fan. It's a mess. You just can't bring yourself to do it, then. You just want... Its death is even slower now. It's literally impaled on the end of Roderick's quarterstaff. Just killing me now. Three-quarters cover for that attack, Norin. You can... Roderick holds it up on the end of his quarterstaff, and you just impale it. This little liquid web falls out of its web sack and just creates these little snowflakes that fall onto the ground. One of them is in the shape of Roderick's face. Okay, it's at the end of your turn, and it finishes one full plat. Thomas. There's a gap for you if you want to get in closer. From where you are. Okay. 20 feet. It's in this square, Thomas. But from where you are, oh, you're in the wall there. You it's got 3/4 cover against you. You can just sort of see a couple of legs around the corner here. Alright, you see these multiple spider arms working Roderick's beard, and you just splash acid over all of those arms, and they just melt away, and this like melt it down to the spider's joints, and then its arms are just shaking. Ah! What have you done to me? And it looks around. It actually sees Rend as a like the most vulnerable target, so it like crawls over him and tries to like it's gonna grab him, drag him off. It actually provokes from Thomas, Stan, Roderick, and Norrin as it does that. Right, Norrin, you get the trident stuck on the wall. Roderick, you manage to hit it. You whack it quite good. And does that have to be an attack roll or saving throw? I thought it had to be. Doesn't it? Doesn't acid splash do 2 people? Yeah. Anything that has the ability of targeting more than one creature won't work. So you have to do like a Ray of Frost. It's a miss. And Than, did you want to attack it? It's probably being slow to load. Let me see if I can put it up for you. Did that change anything? Alright, so it was a +7, 13. You miss it. You hit the wall. Okay. Oh, too bad you didn't have that attack roll. Alright, the spider moves over here, and then it's going to grapple Rend. Drag him off. Rend, make an athletics or an acrobatics check. And yeah, you ain't moving. The spider is then going to keep on running off. It knows when it's in over its head. And it provokes from Rend as it skittles off deeper into the tunnel to the north. Rend, you try to swing at it and you narrowly miss it with your 13. And the ice spider's making an escape. Lily, you're up. And we knew that was going. We knew that was going to be a high save. I mean, come on. Rend. You can also attack it, Rend. It is. You could be reckless. Yeah. If you the thing is, if you attack it once, and if you cut through it, then you actually could reach the spider and use your second attack on the spider. It's actually a lot better to just try and attack it, in my opinion. That hits the webbing. It's just enough to cover him. It's like wrapping around him. And yeah, you just bring the axe up, sort of smashing through all of the ice, Ren, and just little icicles, icy strands fall around you. It's close enough for you to get to. 20 feet away from you. That hits it. You chase it down and you bring the axe down straight into its back, pinning it to the ground, slicing straight through it to the floor. Dead. More of this liquid web, like a gel, just sort of spills out of its web sac and turns to ice almost instantly. It would be ice, maybe a bit of both, but mainly ice that's blown in from somewhere by the looks of it. There's just so much. Everything is covered in ice. Doesn't look like icy webbing. Make a perception check. Not really. No, it's a pretty ambient temperature in here. Yeah. Up ahead, you see a natural cave open up and some rocky columns making their way from floor to ceiling. The floor looks kind of flat and it's a lot spacious up ahead here. However, the cavern is completely filled with translucent icy webs that pretty much block your vision. All right, yeah, they burn pretty easily, and they just as much melt as they do burn away like regular web. And it's a bit slow going though. Every firebolt, you burn away a 10-foot square section, and a couple of large cocoons thump to the ground. Yeah, they're about to turn into mimics in a second. Right, so there's some large frosty cocoons. They're just on the ground here, in the middle of the cavern, and then there's still a section of the web that is stuck against the wall in the far corner of the cavern, and there are a few more cocoons also hanging from the ceiling. They're quite large, about 6 foot long, 3 feet wide. It's about 10 feet in the air. You could reach it. You see a goat? Wait, how do you see into the wall? Oh, how do you... Oh, okay. You've got control of the goat token. Alright, Thomas. You cut open the first cocoon and you will not believe what's inside. Dead goat. Yeah, the dead mountain goat is inside the cocoon. Alright, a couple of the cocoons, they've actually been opened already. It looks like whatever was inside of them has already been eaten. So there are only 2 more intact cocoons after you pull one down and get rid of this remaining web. Alright. You grab a dagger and you slice through the next cocoon. It contains the exascuated corpse of a shield dwarf. Looks like a dwarven prospector. Similar to the prospector that you'd met at the excavation site. He's wearing a tattered fur cloak. He's clutching a miner's pick close to his chest. He did, just not ones on people's faces. Yeah, a miner's pick. Just a tattered fur cloak. No valuables. No pack. Imagine that his pack is somewhere. He wouldn't have come up here without any equipment. But it's not here. And the third one contains a female Uthgard barbarian with these faded blood markings on her face. Make a medicine check. Sure. You can make a perception check. You don't see any secret doors there. And it's also a natural formed cavern as well, so you wouldn't imagine there would be. Yeah, you guys take a look at her. You're not sure if she's alive or dead. She's seems like frozen. She's so cold. She actually still has clutched in her hand this like frozen sharpened stick. It looks like a spear, but it's kind of broken a little bit. It's like snapped in multiple places. She's got it held close to her. And she could be dead, she could be alive. Okay, it's all sort of frosted off and you can just snap it off like a couple of little icicles. Defrost it later. Yeah, you can make a medicine check as well. No one cared about the goat. No one checked to see if the goat's alive. Yeah, it looks well preserved actually. All right, Than, you check and there's actually a very faint pulse. She's just breathing. She's still alive, but she must be, her system must be kind of almost shut down because it's so cold here. All right, she wakes up and she's startled. Her eyes open and some of the this light blue pallor that she has to her frozen flesh, it gets a bit of color back in it. And she's just wearing some animal hides and she wakes up and she's very startled. She jumps to her feet and sort of crawls backward using her arms and legs to move. And she just crawls back up against the wall here. You. How you bring me back? How you bring me back? You use magic? Roderick, make a deception check. Herbs? Oh, good. I thought maybe you use magic. If that was the case, I was better dead. Yes. I was fighting Spider and Spider-1. You people. You came to save me. You found me. Where is this place? Where am I? What is this? Tribe? You know my tribe. You give me weapon. You give me weapon. It's like broken in 3 places. Give me +1 longbow. Javelin. Alright, she takes it. Spear is good. Spear is good. How you know my tribe? Elrem, the mighty god has sent you. Yes, now I can see why. He has sent you to save me. My tribe, they must be looking for me. You people, You smell of magic. She looks at you strangely. Ah. Very well. You look like you can fight well. Nori join you, or Nori die. I do not know this place. I was fighting on the ice mountains with my tribe. One blood, the others. Did you see them? Where? Wormblood. I was with Wormblood. We were hunting. And then the spider got me. I was separated. I must get back to my tribe. Food, supplies, resources, items to trade with civilized folk. We must find Wormblood. We must find him. No. Wormblood is my chief. Elrem will not speak to you. You will not hurt Wormblood. Thomas, make a deception check as you just tuck his head behind your back a little bit. You speak as you have met Wormblood. You speak, say he has to die. Where is Wormblood? He would look for me. Alright, make a persuasion check then. No. You will not allowed inside Great Worm Cavern. We will see. Wormblood will look for me. When we find Wormblood, I will hear truth from his mouth. Yes, I am Nori. Yeah, this is the one that they were looking for. And yeah, from what you're gathering, it doesn't sound like she's going to take very kindly to learning of Wormblood's death. You mean herbal teleportation? Okay. More herbs. Naughty hurt. When you get to this intersection, there's just a powerful wind that blows in snow from the west. What do you mean I am a side quest? I... What? What do you mean I am side quest? Alright, as you come out here, Rend, you're fighting through powerful icy winds that's blowing snow into this tunnel. And it's just like almost like a sheer drop off. You come to the end of the tunnel and you see like a 400-foot drop down the mountainside without any sort of ledge. You could like do some mountain climbing if you want to climb out. But... No, there are no dead spiders on the ground here. Roderick can tell you that this is all limestone as well. Okay, alright, you continue down this tunnel. Alright, up ahead you see an egg-shaped chamber. It has a flat floor, so it's not difficult terrain in this chamber. There are some columns of rocks bisecting the tunnel with a very long, thin single column supporting a dome ceiling about 20 feet overhead. And there are curtains of icy webbing stretching from the column to the walls, creating a blanket of icy webs on the roof. And something descends upon you all as you move into that area. You may want to move up a bit then. South. Yeah, this. Whoops. Yeah, go this way. South. It's the Queen, Ice Spider. It descends down upon you all, and it tries to surprise everyone. You for what? Sorry. Well, you don't that doesn't give you advantage. It was hidden behind the web, so it just jumps down from that webbing at you guys. Unless you have something that gives you advantage on your perception checks. All right, so if you have 14 or higher, 14 or higher, then you're not surprised. Less than 14, you are surprised. And Rend, you're up first. Yeah, it's pretty big. She's got red eyes, same white frosty fur, and about 3 times bigger than the other spiders. Yep. So everything in this area, like I'll draw lines on the map. Beyond these like green lines, this threshold is not difficult terrain. So if you're inside this cave, not difficult terrain. All right, that is a hit, Rend. You bring down the axe and you start lopping off some limbs. That hits. You sink the axe into her again, and she looks seriously injured. It's like bright blue blood just dripping down her. Lily. Okay. Roderick. All right. So yeah, when Nori sees that, she looks at you, and yeah, she can see like 10. I guess you're around the corner a bit there, Roderick. So yeah. Oh, she's in front of you though, then. That misses. That hits. Third attack misses. You just come in with a flurry of your attacks. The second quarterstaff stabs into it, releasing some of this icy blood, and then your third attack just bounces straight off of it. Than. She's looking around ahead of herself. She looks a bit confused. She's looking at that +1 longbow, wondering why you haven't given it to her yet. All right, she like ducks as you cast that spell, and the spider managed to just succeed. Norrin. That hits. You stab into it and just rip open its poison sac. There's like all this bright blue webbing all over its underside, and it's starting to curl up close to death. That hits. And you stab into the spider, and what happens is it kind of explodes. It bursts, and bursting out of it, hundreds of tiny little baby ice spiders. They just crawl out of the egg sac in the underbelly of the ice spider queen. There's about 100 of them. Each one is quite large as well. They're about the size of a grapefruit. Oh, it's supposed to go now. It goes on the Ice Spider Queen's turn, which was next. It got taken out of the turn order. All right, they as they burst out of the egg sac, they start crawling up people. This one's going to crawl all over Thomas. This one is going to crawl all over Arend, and the final one is going to crawl all over Norin. As they do that, they start trying to bite you guys, and the first one will try to bite Thomas. Roll on the Wild Magic Surge table. We haven't had a Wild Magic Surge this session. Alright. You can see invisible creatures. Yeah, you spot the ancient ice dragon that was hiding here. And yeah. It now becomes hostile because it doesn't like being seen. Alright, so they just all crawl over your shield, Thomas. Next one's on Norin. And they bite you for 12 piercing. Alright, 6 piercing damage in that case, as you try to maneuver out of the way. And then last lot of bites is on Rend. And they miss. That's it. Thomas. Okay. The one on you fails, and about 5 spiders get completely melted away. Nori doesn't seem to really enjoy having you next to her, then. Bad magic, bad. And she moves forward. Die, spider, die. And she's going to recklessly attack with her javelin at the swarm on Thomas. And she shatters about 3 of those spiders. Rend. Okay. That's a hit. And you do find it's a bit difficult to attack these spiders, Rend, because they're a swarm. They resist your attacks, but you do smash through about 8 of them. That hits. You shake some off of your back, and you bring down the axe and squash another 6 of them. They just look like little random chunks of ice on the ground, all squashed up. Really? Alright, Nori ducks again. She seems like kind of more like scared rather than like, it's not like your magic's like provoking her, it's like frightening her. She ducks and she looks very confused. And couple more spiders just pop all over Thomas. Roderick. That hits. You bat through a heap of the spiders, and there's only a couple left now. You hit the last remaining couple, and they also explode. It's like just like hitting a large ice cube. It just shatters, turns into like a bit of frost. Ice slushy. Fan. Alright, let's see if it's going to be a success or not. Roll damage. Yep. This will be a success. That actually works incredibly well. And all of the spiders, they stop crawling up Thomas. They fall off all around him. And when they hit the ground, they just shatter. Norrin. That hits. You smash through 5 of them. That's a hit. And you smash through another 5 of them. Okay. Alright, it's its turn. And they're just going to continue to try to bite you, Norrin. And yeah, the swarm is smaller than usual, so it's not as much damage. Oh, if I can actually click stuff. There we go. Bites. Miss. Thomas. Nori gets absolutely frightened, and the firebolt, it is angled perfectly to completely obliterate the remainder of that swarm, and frozen liquid spider drips down Norin's armor. Nori jumps back, and she just like starts toting her spear, and she like jumps right back away from you guys. Oh, magic bad, magic bad. You people are cursed. Elrim will judge you. Take your soul. Give me that +1 longbow. Alright, there is a large gap in that webbing on the ceiling now, where the ice quiet spider dropped down from. There's a large cluster of spider eggs as well, tucked in there. It's like a canopy, about 20 feet overhead. You'd have to climb up there if you wanted to look in there. Right, make an athletics check. Alright, you're just bam, 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 straight up there, Norrin. Use all the handholds, natural handholds and footholds on the wall. You cling onto the canopy, it supports your weight, and it's kind of cold. You jump up into this little 5-foot high dome-shaped chamber where the spider was nesting. And there are a heap of these spider eggs. Again, each one, it's about the size of a grapefruit. These big blue orbs stacked up atop one another. and they've got a bit of a gleam to it. And there's actually a couple of items here just stacked up next to the eggs. One of them looks like a potion. It's completely frozen over, and it's just like some sort of multicolored liquid, brown, silver, and grey. Looks like different bands of stone, but it's frozen over. And it's a frozen potion. It's not identifiable in this state. You'd have to either smash the flask open and taste the slushy, or thaw it out to taste it to identify it. It's a fancy warhammer sitting on the ground here. Alright, the warhammer, it actually has a massive sapphire. It is huge. It's like the size of your fist. It's set into the haft. And you can't see it from up there. Norin's up above. All right, you realize that the handle of the warhammer, it detaches, and you just like the head of that warhammer just sort of falls off, and it's pretty much just like a quarterstaff. However, it seems to be glowing with like this light blue glow, and it looks magical. Bad. Do not take. Bad thing will happen. Nori calls out. Alright. Make another athletics check to climb down, Norin. Yeah, Nori's backing right up. She hears magic and she gets scared. Alright, with a 13, you actually slip, Norin, on some of the ice. So you fall 20 feet. You crash onto the ground prone, take 10 bludgeoning damage. It's quite a fall. Big jagged rock sticks into you. So, alright, Roderick, you take a look at the gemstone, and with your stone cutting, you identify it as a 1000 GP sapphire. And it can actually just be, it's dwarven make as well. It can be unscrewed from the end of the haft, which acts as a magic quarterstaff of some description. So you got 1000 GP sapphire and a magic quarterstaff. Alright, let's take a 10-minute break now as well. You've killed the giant spider, gotten some treasure, and Harshnag's worried sick about you all. I'll see you guys back soon. Hey guys. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Storm King's Thunder. Okay. Hit that like button if you're having fun in today's session. This session was brought to you by Mafia Boss, because that's how Mafia works. And also some other MMO. I don't know. Yes, this campaign is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends Plus. Oh, wow. Okay, let's let's continue. So you guys have killed the Ice Spider Queen, and you'd found a bit of loot that some poor soul had been robbed of unto their death. Alright, the Spider Queen is dead, and Nori has got very spooked from all the magic, and she's just started retreating down this tunnel. Alright, you guys head back. Yeah, Harshnag's still waiting back from you. You haven't heard any word from him. He didn't even seem to react from when you guys had set off the trap earlier. There's a tremor. Suddenly, you feel the ground shake and shudder. And from within the column of rock that was causing this donut-shaped formation of the cavern behind you, bursts out a creature. A massive creature breaks straight through the rock, as if it was sheathed in some sort of stony prison. It's huge. It looks like it's some sort of giant lizard. It has sleek blue flesh, six limbs, a long tail. It almost looks like a basilisk, but it has a frosty eminence to it. It's a frost salamander. And it burrows straight through this stone, like the stone wasn't even there. And it just screeches as it emerges from this stony tomb. And it just starts attacking. Don't forget, everything's difficult terrain. And yeah, it sort of pushes through in front of you, Roderick. It just lets out this loud screech. Sounds like some sort of massive reptile. And yeah, there's just like coldness just coming off of it. You can literally see frost rising from it, even though this is already a frosty cavern. All right, Roderick, you're up. Your shillelagh will actually still be up, Roderick. I think it's a minute. That hits. You just swing the quarterstaff around, rip it straight into the side of it. You hear a couple of ribs crack. You hit it again, and it just feels like your attack is only slightly effective. It doesn't resist the damage or whatever. This beast is so large that yeah, you don't even know where to begin to like do some serious damage to this thing. And it's definitely not with that third attack. You swing it around and you have to jump back because it starts swinging these massive claws around. Alright, as this thing bursts forward, it screeches and it starts pursuing you guys who are moving up through the tunnel. And it pokes its head into the tunnel, and you see there's more, it's just like jagged icicles, these two little beady blue eyes. And from within that vortex within its mouth, you see a bright blue beam start to form, and it just shoots out a freezing breath in a 60-foot cone. It floods that entire tunnel. There's no escaping it. It fills every little crack, crevice, and corner of this very narrow tunnel. And everybody is going to have to make a Constitution save against that. Except for Roderick, who's behind it. Alright, Lily's absorbing elements. Thomas is absorbing elements. Give us a roll on that Wild Magic Surge table again, Thomas. Let's spice this up a bit. Alright, cast Mirror Image. No, that doesn't usually require concentration anyway, but yeah, Mirror Image goes up. That's actually very good. Okay, so yeah, this thing is gonna hurt. Norrin, you fail and take 43 points of cold damage. Rend, you resist and you take 21. Lily, you fail and you take 21 points of cold damage with your resistance. Than, it knocks you straight over. Thomas, you fail and you resist, taking 21 cold damage. You resist the damage. And poor Nori is on the ground as well. It just washes over her and she hits the ground, and then the thing screeches and it's starting to move around. It's got its claws and this massive maw. It ends its turn there. Norrin. Okay. That's it. Alright then. I'm not even sure if you want to open your eyes at this stage. I'll leave that up to you whether you open your eyes or not, but you do become conscious. Thomas. That's good. Alright, you throw your hand forward and where you point the center of your palm in that point in space over here, there's a huge explosion of fire that just rips through the salamander. It will make a dexterity save. Fails. And what happens is the ice that is sheathing the walls, it starts to melt and turn into a gas. And some of the frost salamander also melts and turns into this light blue gas. And what the frost salamander does is it takes in a deep breath and it seems to absorb all of this icy gas into its mouth, where you start to see the beginnings of another one of these blue beams of energy of its freezing breath reform. You just recharged it. Yes, he is huge. You can move through his square. Now, when you move through his square, you actually realize it's a she as well, Thomas. Okay. That hits it point blank. It scorches a small patch of one of its massive lumber limbs. It doesn't seem particularly vulnerable, no. It just causes more of this gas to sort of come off of the frost salamander. It's like an icy wind that it absorbs. Then you can use half your movement speed to stand up. You've still got 20 left, so 2 squares if you include difficult terrain. Yes, in the tunnel it is. In this, where you are, it's no longer the next square down past this area. It's not difficult. It's all flat here, and this column has just been obliterated. Okay. Its flesh starts to crack, and you can see this bright blue energy like through the seams of the cracks of its flesh emanate from the channel divinity. Nori is still alive. You can hear her just on the ground dying. Magic, bad. Rend. Ten. 4 squares for you, Rend. You could move up to it. You can see its flesh like peeling apart like an old boot. It's got like an old leather boot. It's all cracked, and next attack on it, it is vulnerable against. That's a miss. That hits it. Alright, you bring the axe down on it, and when you hit it, it cuts through a crack in its flesh. The beast shrieks, and then its flesh returns to normal. Lily. You blink. Magic bat. Yeah. And give us that D20 roll. Roderick. That hits it. And you hear a bit of a crack. Another miss. Quarterstaff bounces back off of its leg. Alright, yeah, this frost salamander, it doesn't want any of its meals escaping, unfortunately. So it's going to do its frost breath down this tunnel again. It just releases another blanket of frost. And there is a slight chance you may survive, but not really. It's slight. Norin, Rand, and Lily has to make a constitution save. Nori is going to take a failure. Cover is only for dex saves, unfortunately. There is no avoiding this. It just floods the tunnel. Everyone actually succeeds. So everyone takes 20 points of cold damage. It breathes that breath down the tunnel. Norin and Lily fall. And Rend still managed to stand there and take that freezing breath straight to the face. And it ends its turn there as it starts flailing around. Norin, make a death saving throw. That is a success. Thomas. Think of it this way, if you're unconscious, at least you have a higher chance of being healed by Than. No, you have a chance. You actually have a chance of being healed. Banishment, good call. Alright, Thomas, you pull out an item distasteful to the target. It's some dwarvish pubic hair, and you just sort of blow it on the frost salamander's face. And then you just hear a loud pop, and the frost salamander is banished back to the Frostfell. Gone. You can hold concentration on it for 1 minute and it will not return. Gone. And you're going to try and stabilize Nori, Thomas? Make a medicine check. Alright, you can try again. You won't know until it's either too late or she's stable. Alright. You've got time to do that, so she's stable. Alright, when she wakes up, she's terrified. And she tries to just like pretty much run. She grabs that javelin and she starts trying to push by you, Thomas. You can try and stop her if you want. Alright, make a athletics or an acrobatics check. She's gonna try and like push her way through you. You can... Alright, you can do that athletics check then. Zan. Thomas stops her anyway. Bad! And you just grab her and you almost break her neck then. What are you doing? 23? You grab her arm and... Magic! Bad thing! Bad thing! Then make an intimidation check with advantage because she's already like absolutely terrified of you. She doesn't get more terrified of you, but she's not like hostile. Bad magic. Wormblood. I must get to Wormblood. Me stay with you. When me find Wormblood, me go. Me no want to go with you anymore. You are cursed, all of you. I would rather be dead than live cursed. Look at him. Many man, strange cursed clothes. And him. What is that yellow dot? Magic. I know it is bad. We are taught what will curse us when we grow. Many bad things will happen now. You don't get a response. This place very bad. Very big. Harshnag is Harshnag is laying down on the stone slab, his axe on the ground next to him, his eyes rolled back in his head, and his eyes are open, staring at the ceiling, and he's unmoving. He doesn't respond, and then you can make a medicine check. You try to search for some sort of signs of breathing. He does not have a pulse. His eyes are slumped back in his head. He looks dead. She's there all tied up, just staring at you. And Nori comes running to her. Mother! Mother! What have you done with boot? Why is mother in the boot? Mother is what we call shaman in our tribe. She is mother to us all. Why have you done this? What is that giant man? No, she not use magic. She use spirits. No. Different. Spirits of our ancestors. Give her the powers. You are cursed. Suddenly, Harshnag's eyes widen. And he starts moaning. And his eyes are glowing blue. He starts to stand up. Hungry. Me hungry. Harshnag rises. Me so hungry. Oops. He starts slapping the stone bench. It's the look on you! What do you mean? I've always been blue. Ah, it's this magic helm that I've got. A dread helm. It makes my eyes glow blue. You see, a giant's heart ticks a lot slower than your tiny little thumpers. That is why we can live for 6, 7, or even 800 years. You didn't check my pulse, because my heart's only beaten once every 12 seconds. And as a frost giant, I'm able to slow my metabolism for the cold, hard winters when hunting is low. And now, if you excuse me, I need to put my boot back on. The shaman's out on the ground. Nori is just terrified. She's like on the ground and crawled up into the corner of the room. What's this you found? You are bad, all of you. You have tied up Mother. And, did you guys gag her? She's trying to speak. She's like, and she's gonna try and like get out of the gag, but she's not able to. They have killed Wormblood. Run, Nori. Nori stands up. What have you done? You bad cursed people. You have killed Wormblood. She starts breathing heavily. She just screams, "Now I will use the javelin you gave me to attack you, as you expected!" And she runs at you guys to attack. Taking the javelin in her hand, she charges forward. You're not sure if an arrow in the leg would kill her. She seems pretty tough. She survived. Alright, that's the end of that combat. You just shoot her in the leg, and she falls forward, and like you hit her artery, she starts bleeding badly, and she just immediately falls unconscious from blood loss. You pull the arrow out, and pff, blood just starts fountaining out of it, and then Than just hovers his hand like in the air over where the wound is, and it just scars over. Even though it doesn't cost him any resources whatsoever. Okay. Thomas, make a sleight of hand check for the rope. to tie her up. You just do like a just a single, like a bow, like you tie your shoelace, and then you put both like loops of the bow in each one of her hands. So she's holding on to each one of the bows there. Yeah, it was about a day's journey. Yeah. The rock face was a shortcut. If you went to go a different path, it would probably be a few days. Yeah, what do you mean resting? We just rested. It was a bit tired. What are you talking about? You look like shit, Tan. Oh, don't worry about these ones. And he reaches down, scoops them up, and puts them in his satchel. Pats the satchel a couple of times. Stone giant, come alive. I ain't scared about no stone giant. I'm looking forward to cracking some skulls. You all had some fun without me. Where was my invite? What sort of beasties did you happen upon? Salamander? A salamander? A big fiery lizard in this place? That happens around this place. In these treacherous cold locations. The border between icy plains are particularly thin. She had lipstick on. Yeah, she was the brood mother. She had a big egg sac. You studied her sac and you learnt that she was the queen. Alright, I'm ready for a full day of adventuring. Where's are we going? Did you find any big axe or anything? Them tricksy little buzzards. They told us to go this way. I knew we didn't trust them. Come on, now's not the time to be slacking off. That was before. That was a good time to be slacking off. Alright then, little ones. I see you're all scratched up on that. I'll keep guard. I'll just wander up here and investigate a little bit for you. What do you mean don't go that way? Why not? A boulder? Ah! Must be a trap to ward off little rats that try to weasel their way into giant places. Not that you're a rat or anything, but in comparison in size and... Alright then. I'll go and walk down over here then, and I'll keep a guard so you can all have your little napsy buys. And everyone take a short rest. Harshnag keeps watch. So, yeah, not much activity around this place. It's just dead silent. Oh, you have to change your... Oh, I think the API doesn't work anymore. I might have to get a new one. Yeah, we'll have to get a new hit dice tracker. Maybe I just edit the API a little bit. You have to add it yourself. You can identify it. It's a +1 quarter staff. And you can, unscrew that sapphire. Or you can keep it in and attack with 1000 GP sapphire and break it. Just going to try something here. I'm just going to click your hit die there, Norin. Okay, I should be able to fix that anyway. All right, you guys take a bit of a breather, a bit of a rest, you recover, and everyone's looking pretty good now. Did you say your hunter's mark is 8 hours, Roderick? Okay. Harshnag just starts like whistling, and it's like he can't whistle properly, so it's like really annoying. And it just keeps getting like more and more annoying as the rest goes on, and then he starts like tapping his foot. Oh, I wasn't being impatient. I just clearing my throat. You're all feeling a lot better now, small ones. So where should we go next? Alright. Alright, the stairs continue up to a landing. And looks like another large hallway. No, I'll just move you up to the next floor. It just opens straight up into the hallway. As you guys move up the stairs, I'll move you on up. Moving on up, moving on up. There is a statue. I'll move you up then. Yeah, both of these staircases seem to lead up to the same hallway. Alright, it's another quarters. You can see the same configuration as the area below. And it's like structurally the same. There is another statue here in the alcove. And this one is a statue of a female cloud giant. And her face is concealed by an angry looking mask. It makes her look like she's got a bit of a scowl. And her hands are pointed in very specific gestures of as if she's casting a spell. She's facing to the north. Again, it's life size. She's about 22 feet tall. Okay. Start another ritual. That takes 10 minutes. Anyone want to do anything during that time? Of course. Anything you need, buddy. It doesn't look turnable, my friend. It's all set into the ground in that. And I'm not about to go defiling any of this temple. It's just a statue, though. What you're scared of? Ah. So that other stony giant statue, it came alive, did it? Ah! I've got it! So the statue below was a stone giant. And when specifically Roderick headed up the hole, a large stone came rolling down. So what are you scared for? If we head up this hole, a cloud's gonna come down. A cloud's not gonna hurt us none. Lightning? Nah, I'm not a cloud giant. That's a storm giant, my friend. Ah. Come on now, you're not the rat. Alright then. If you're scared, big ol' Harshnag will go first and cover your wee ones. Starts trying to whistle again. Lily's already started her ritual like right here. If you move it, will disturb the ritual. Okay. Alright, Harshnag moves up, and then suddenly he yells out to you all. Ah! Watch out! It's a vicious wind incoming! He just does the loudest fart you've ever heard, and literally you can feel a wind like wash over you guys. Hey, there's something here. Come check it out. It's safe, little ones. It looks like some of this hole's collapsed. There's a sack. Big old sack here. Some treasure for you. He redoes up his belt. Oh. Look. Now, I don't want to spoil your spoils, so I'll let you have this one. And he points to one of these stone beds, and there's a large frozen stitched leather sack resting on it. And Harshnag will like pick you guys up and put you on the stone shelf. He's like, you can't even reach it. Like, just use his thumb and his forefinger, just plop you up there. It's a large frozen sack. All right, you hit it with a firebolt and it melts away the ice. Still little bits of ice clung to it, but for the most part, it's defrosted enough to gather the contents. All right, you use the trident, Norin, and just undo the stitching, and inside there is a coffin. And next to the coffin, there is a large bone. It looks like a rib bone of a gigantic fish with several teeth coming out one side. Ah! I'll take that! Harshnag steps in and takes it. And he starts combing his beard with it. It's a comb! I needed one of them. And there's also a large necklace. And it's made of gigantic black feathers. Like, it's got gigantic black feathers around it. It's like each feather is about 4 foot long, 4 to 5 foot long. Oh, pretty. Rock feathers. Oh, look! There's something else in here. He grabs the coffin lid and he opens the lid and looks inside it. Ah, there's something else you might like here then, Mr. Rock Expert. Do you want to take a wee look? He picks you up and he puts you next to the sack. And inside the coffin, there are 3 severed frozen dwarf heads. 2 male and 1 female. Oh, they should have quit while they're ahead. Don't worry, they're dead. What? What? Come on now. What could we have done about that? Oh, I'm sorry. Perhaps life and death means something different to small folk. Anyway, yeah. But you do notice, Roderick, that one of the dwarves is... It's like this big fat dwarf head, and he's got like this big smile, and his eyes are like closed, like he was like, I don't know, listen to some real funny joke. And as he smiles, you notice that a row of his teeth are made from gold. Yes. All right, the spell's gone off now, Lily. You can move up, and when you move up, you're gonna detect some magic. All right. So first of all, add those 3 dwarf heads to your inventory. Inventory, Roderick. They're heavy. Yeah. 10 pounds each. So add them to your inventory, Roderick. One of the heads has 10 gold teeth. And the gold teeth are worth 1 GP each. You don't have to add them to your inventory if you don't want to. But I'll leave it up to you if you want to pluck those teeth out or not. Okay. I mean, you can put them in with the other head that you've got. Start a collection. No. As Lily moves up, she detects magic from an icicle that is clung to the underside of this stone bench. It's long and slender, roughly the size of a dagger. And when you focus in, you'll detect magic. You see the ice rune glowing within the shard of ice. All right, yeah, you can sort of just if someone boosts you, you can like sort of reach up and grab it, and you just sort of take it, and it just pops off the underside of this bench, and it feels very nice in your hand. It's nice and light. It's even got a handle and a crossguard, and almost like a blade, like it is a dagger. The ice rune is glowing within it, and yeah, it's very, very cold, and it makes you feel kind of warm, Lily, as if you're almost ignoring the cold a little bit. And it's magic. It's a very particular looking item. It reminds you of the gavel that you've got. It's a magic rune. Ah. That's a special item. I think I know what that is. Now, that's an ice rune. But not ice as in ice. Ice, well, it's a giant. It's a giant word, ice. It means ice in the common tongue. Alright, Lily calls it the Icy rune. These runes. This is ancient giant magic that the dwarves later adopted. You see, Adam the Allfather, he gifted us giant kin with runes of magic. Each one was forged from a drop of his own blood. Each one a drop from a different vein that bore his sons and daughters onto this world. Just like that gavel you've got around your neck there, Lily. This is a very special item. Now, I'm not saying that they should be held exclusively for giants with all of this upheaval and whatnot. I'm not sure if giants should really be trusted with these powers, but it is sacred, and I'll ask that you take good care of it, Lily, if you're going to hold on to it. Alright, you do it. Sure, you don't put your tongue on it, and your tongue gets stuck to it, Lily. Alright, so you just stand there with the ice shard hanging off your tongue for the next 10 minutes, and you identify it as Shard of the Ice Rune. It's another runic stone. It'll come off. At this stage, actually, I need everybody to make a Constitution save against the cold, unless you have cold resistance, because it's starting to actually get to you guys. And you have advantage because you should have the cold weather clothing. Alright, Thomas. It starts to cut through you, and you suffer 1 level of exhaustion due to extreme temperature. You're not attuned to it, Lily, so you're not getting any of the full properties from it. It actually gives you resistance to fire damage as well, so it's not going to help you in this situation anyway. Everyone else is fine. Thomas is shivering though. Alright. Yeah, it's cutting straight through them. Yeah, it's cutting straight through them. Alright, this Shard of the Ice Rune requires attunement. It's a very rare magic item. It has several abilities. Frigid Touch. As an action, You can touch a body of water and it freezes the water in a 10-foot radius sphere around the spot that you touched. You can do that once every short or long rest. While you're attuned, you're a friend with the frost. It gives you resistance to fire damage. So I guess you're friends with the fire instead. And it has an ability called Icy Mantle. As an action, you can touch yourself, which you can usually do. You can usually do that anyway. But or you can touch another creature with water on your finger. The water creates an icy mantle of protection. The next time within the next minute the target takes bludgeoning, slashing, or piercing damage, the damage is reduced to 0 and the mantle's destroyed. So a complete protection. Very handy if something big is about to hit you. And you can do that every short or long rest. Winter's Howl, as an action, you can cast Sleet Storm every short or long rest. And you can also give the best gift of all, which is the Gift of Frost. You can transfer the shard's magic to a non-magical item, either a cloak or a pair of boots. And you trace the ice rune on the item with your finger, and the transfer takes 8 hours, and it requires that the two items be within 5 feet of each other. And at the end, the shard is destroyed, and the rune appears in blue on the chosen item, which turns a cloak into a rare magic item that requires attunement. That gives you resistance to fire damage and advantage on stealth checks in the snow. Or if you do it to boots, it's a rare magic item that requires attunement, and you ignore difficult terrain while walking. And you can walk on water. All right. It is destroyed, and then yeah, it just becomes that other item instead. Yeah, it's also a magic dagger. You can actually just use it as a magic dagger. It doesn't give you a bonus or anything, but it overcomes damage resistances. And yeah, you have to have the Shard of the Ice Room on you. You don't necessarily have to hold it in your hand to get those effects. All right, so next time you take a short rest, then you can attune to it. Take care of it, Than. All right, then. Shall we have another nap? All stairs. Oh. This one you have to attune to it. Yeah. You guys can take another short rest if you want. It's not much happening here. Sorry? I think it was like nighttime as you guys got here. It was pretty... I know, it was early when you guys got here. Well, let's check that out then before we call it a day. We need to get into that big swirly misty thing. That's gotta be where the oracle is. It is granite. It's it just looks like you don't need any ability check, Roderick. It looks like, yeah, this has collapsed. So judging from that crack that you saw in the ground, the fissure that you saw in the wall, and the structural damage here, it looks like there was some mighty tremor that has caused this massive collapse. And it's almost as if like the shatter, when like the awning was shattered, it's almost as if like, you know, there was an actual shatter in this temple that caused this destruction. It's almost poetic. You about 8,000 D100 times. There you go. Alright, while you're calculating that, everyone's walked off. Okay, well there you go. 6 years. Alright. So that's just a blink of the eye for a dwarf. Alright. You guys head back downstairs. I'll put you back in the large room with all the dwarven statues. Alright, you return. Are you still concentrating there, Roderick? Lily, you're not concentrating anymore. Thomas, you're a bit cold. You don't see them. You come back into this massive chamber and no sign of them. They are. You doing another ritual, Lily? Alright, the ice is gone. It melts down, trickling down the door like a waterfall. You hear a little chuckle coming from the west. It sounds like those ice methods, but then the sound of their voices trail away from you guys. That's just a massive crack that streaks the wall, creating like a little alcove of destruction, little mini fissure. So Harshnag moves on forward. Let me get this. Turns the handle and opens the door. These massive doors for you guys. Oh! He rubs his hands together. Ah, nice and warm in here. And yeah, you're feeling some lovely warmth in this room. Gigantic room. Ha ha ha! Now we're talking. Let's get some food cooking on this fire. A few ham hocks. Alright, as you take a look in this room, it is absolutely massive. It's hundreds of feet wide and hundreds of feet deep. And it's just so large. It looks like a grand, giant-sized feast hall. The walls are lined with niches and sconces that look similar to ones you've seen in other rooms. And the room is very warm, it's dry, it's brightly illuminated. There are these massive stone benches, stone tables flanked by stone benches, and they're made of granite, Roderick. And you guys can just like walk straight under them. They're that big. They're about 5 times larger than what you guys would use. Now, there is just a burning fire pit in the middle of the room, illuminating everything. And it's just like flaring up. And there's some gigantic slabs in the middle of the room as well that serve as like a stone table. And near one of these stone tables, like they're 9 foot tall, you can actually see some blood and some grease around the slabs. Like, you know, giants were just cutting up some food here and whatnot. There's actually some stacks of plates and goblets on a shelf against the south wall in a niche. It's like, this is where giants would come and feast. Now, leaning against the southernmost slab is a steel axe, which looks like it's about the size of Harshnag's axe. It's huge. And there's also some sort of creature curled up in an alcove to the east. It's a massive remoraz, way bigger than the ones that you guys saw on your way up here. It's curled up though in a big ball, and it looks like it's sleeping. This looks like a mama one though. Doesn't seem to move at all. Harshnag sort of sits down, and he just he gets his massive pack on the table, and he's actually got like a large bib. It's just like, it's like a massive blanket for you guys, and he like ties it around his neck. And he starts pulling out all these little containers and clay pots of food that he's got. And he starts like buttering a massive piece of bread, stuffing it down to his mouth. And then he takes out the two barbarians, and they're both conscious at this stage. And their eyes are just widened, and he even takes out like a wooden chopping board, and he puts one of them on the chopping board. And they're like screaming and struggling. And you know, frost giants love the crunching taste of barbarian flesh. But of course, don't worry. Oh, come on now. I'm not like other frost giants, though. I don't crunch on the bones of barbarians. And then he takes out a large, very heavy stone bowl, which probably weighs about 500 pounds, and he puts it down on the table. And then he takes out this large pestle. It's a mortar and pestle. I like to crush them down into a fine paste and have them on me toast. Their eyes are just wide, and they're screaming and struggling. And he picks them up and he puts them in the mortar. And he holds up the pestle, and he slowly moves it down towards them. And then they're screaming at this stage, trying to get out of this bowl. And he's bringing the pestle down, and then he just stops at the last second. But I've already had my fill for today. He tips them out of the bowl and puts it back in his pack. Rubs his belly. And he just leaves them like tied up on the table there. All right. That's a big axe. He stands up, leaving the barbarians on the table. Ah, what's them beasties over there? Some little worms. Shh. Ah, don't disturb them. They're sleeping. Harsnag creeps forward. It's in a massive bowl-shaped basin, and you can't actually see like the interior of it. Norin, the lip of it is about 9 foot tall. Yeah, you can't imagine it would be like wood though, unless someone had lit it recently. But it's just a massive flame coming out of it. Harshnag could lift you up to take a look in it. I think we found the axe! The axe! The axe! The axe! The axe! He picks it up. He holds it up to you guys. And suddenly this gigantic Remoraz uncoils. It unwraps itself, and the head of this thing rises up, and 2 of its young crawl out as well after cuddling up to it. It hisses. This Remoraz, like the adult one, it is massive. It like reaches Harshnag's size. You can see these glowing beads of fire start to light up, like pulsing along its spine, and each like one of these beads is as big as one of your heads. It's very slow to sort of uncoil itself, and then you just see these large antennae rise up, and then there's like a little bit of a cloud of steam rising up from it as well, and then suddenly it just sort of hisses, and its huge fins, the wing-like fins, just flare up from the back of its head, and its wide mouth opens up, revealing these jagged teeth, and it very, very quickly starts coiling its way, snaking its way towards you guys, spreading out. The young seem to be going towards the barbarians. The big one comes for the people in the center of the room, and the small one's going for Harshnag. And that's where we'll end tonight's session. Yeah, you're just about done, Lily. It's 10 minutes, so close to it. We'll say that you just finished then. Alrighty. That is it for tonight's session. And I think after next session, you guys will level up. It'll be the next milestone. What's that? Whoever survives, you can level up. Possibly. You guys didn't take a second short rest. Alrighty, so yeah, have a little look maybe at what you may get for next level. It'll probably be after the next session, but depending on the pacing, maybe it will be in between. So we'll see, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you all very much. Good night. Have a good weekend.